Make a life for myself. 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 Make a life for myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, my name is Brandon, aka Rags Riches, aka the CEO, CFO, C of all the O's, and you are here right now, chat. Why? Because you have nothing else better to do. You were watching whatever the hell was happening in Russia this weekend, and now you're like, man, we got nothing else better to do. Turn on Rags. Here you are. Here you are. Let's check chat. You guys know how we roll around here. B-Dub-G, let's go, Ginger Boy. Give me the wrench. Man, B-Dub-G, you ain't getting that wrench, man. Facing Reality gave me, I don't know, he gave me like a gift from the future, like alien technology. Like last week, you're not getting a wrench unless you got to top it, man. I'm not sure if you can. Bright Light 57, Hex Force 1, what's up? Hex Force 1, nice star by your name. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are supporting Texan and what we're doing around here, put a star next to your name. If you would like. Bright Light 57, let's do this immutable. Let's get this bread, hitting a workout, and get ready to rage with Rags. That sounds like a band name. Rage with Rags. Pulse Chain Trainer, hello fam. Drop some knowledge about the Men in Black. Hey guys, you guys know how to do it. Okay, I try to keep it real. That is the most overused term in society these days, and I guess it started happening maybe like 15 20 years ago. Keep it real, keep it real. I hate it, but we try to keep it, you know, Mayor of Realville, population 1. I say that all the time. We try to here, and the whole point of that, Men in Black. Okay, I know I use some clickbait stuff, I know I put surveillance, but guys, actually what I'm gonna tell you It has everything to do with the word surveillance. And then there's no like tinfoil hat type stuff here. It's in the documents. And I dug in and I found the documents for you. I got a lot for you today, man. A lot for you. Facing Reality. Boom! What's up, dude? Godfather J6, Mine Like Ghost. What's up? DJ Crypto Magnet. Love the intro music. Yeah, man. Little D&B. Let's go, Brandon. Tell us something new, please. Rags, Sam Coop. What's up, man? Mark's 99, Texas Life. Mine Like Ghost. J6 again. KD. What's up? When I'm ready to take a nap or watch Rags, here I am. Bro, what are you talking about, man? Go take that nap, man. I'm on replay. Your nap ain't on replay. Keeping it real goes wrong. We listen to Rags, right? All right, guys, here's the deal. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to go over the crypto stuff. We're going to go over my newsletter. Okay, so I've created a newsletter. And then after we talk about the newsletter and all that, we get into crypto. After that, I'm going to introduce you to a YouTuber that I follow very closely. And I like listening to his reports because he's been on the ground in Russia. He's been on the ground in Donbass. He's been on the ground and he's been all over the place, Kiev, and he's there and he's reporting directly. So I'm going to play some information just to kind of touch on what happened this weekend directly from his YouTube. So I'm excited about that. All right. So the first thing we will talk about, guys, Wealth Wave. All right. Now here's the thing. I put the link to this newsletter in the description. I decided not to charge you guys for this. I was so reluctant. I said, man, I could charge 99 bucks. I could charge 100. I could charge 200. And somebody was just like, Rax, just put it out there for free. And I said, but I want to extract value from my users. And they said, no, Rags, don't do that. Don't be a grifter. Don't do it, Rags. And I said, you know what? Maybe this Ginge heart is warming up a little bit because this is completely free. All you have to do is to subscribe. You subscribe, it goes straight to your email. We might say, well, let me read it first, Rags. Okay, so I created the first one this weekend. This is going to get more in depth about topics. There might be some pretty cool offers to be able to chit chat with me or this or that. It's going to provide an extra step, an extra layer of value for what you're already getting, especially for those of you who work a 9 to 5. You're driving like an hour or 2 hours a day to get to work. You're stuck in traffic. Or you might, during lunch break, you just kind of want to digest the crypto, the news, the politics, the finance. Well, you could do this here. And I'm going to make this 600 words or less every newsletter to give you an example of what we wrote this weekend. This week, we're unpacking some pivotal developments in the cryptocurrency industry. If you've been following our recent discussions, you're aware that the tides are turning, and quickly. In a surprising turn of events, we've seen major financial institutions like BlackRock stepping into the crypto ring, even amidst stringent regulations. Let's start by untangling the intriguing web around the establishment of new financial exchanges. Guys, we talked about Mimex last week. So we talked about it, and I put some additional detail in here, okay? So the likes of Mimex, a member-form equities trading platform established in early 2019 by 9 prominent banks, financial service firms, market makers, and retail broker-dealers. They claim to transform markets around the goals of transparency, innovation, and competition. However, some suggest that these exchanges aim not to enhance competition, but to curtail it. That is a little preview of the type of content you're going to get. And this goes on, and you're going to be able to check that out. Again, the link is in the description, okay? And eventually I'm going to change the domain name. Right now it's parked@beehive.com. So it's Wealth Wave, all right? Wealth Wave, feel free to share it out. It's going to be good info for you, for your family, this and that, all right? Okay, let's check here. Let's see what's happening. Hate to tell you, but I would have paid Sam Kemp. I know. McKinsey, win PP ETF Rags. Hey, hey, you know what's funny about this, McKinsey? I know you're in bed right now. I know you drank your cup of UKT. British people drink. I don't know what you guys do. But you're chilling right now and you're asking about a PP ETF. I'm going to tell you guys how to get an ETF. BlackRock finally did it. And I think they've known this entire time. And I also think there is some collusion with the government involved in here. But why did we see a tidal wave of people behind BlackRock come and submit their ETFs? Because they copied BlackRock. They feel pretty confident in BlackRock's approach. I'm going to break it down for you, and I'm going to show you the actual documents, the filings. I'm going to show you the arguments. I'm going to show you the justifications. But first, let's get into this, okay? This is from the Wall Street Journal. Crypto custodian Prime Trust teeters on the brink of collapse. Folks, this was 2 days ago. All right. Another crypto quasi bank appears to be on the brink. Let me move this in. I know most of you guys aren't watching this. You're listening, but Prime Trust, a state-chartered trust company that serves as a custodian for crypto firms, is feared by digital asset investors to be on the verge of failing, after being rebuked by its state regulator and abandoned by a potential acquirer. Now, what's interesting was Binance did a lot of business with these guys. And we have seen these, let's say Binance is the hub. We've seen a lot of spokes get attacked and fall off and be acquired by the FDIC, for example. And we've seen all of the legs of Binance be slowly taken away. And they're replaced with companies like Memex. They're replaced with companies like EDX, which we're going to get into as well. Okay? So we're seeing this pattern, and we knew that this was how they were going to attack. They were going to attack the liquidity. If they can dry up the liquidity, then there's nobody to come in and swoop up and save things. And then they get to basically redirect and provide this vacuum of opportunity to the people who are in bed with the government and play ball with the government. This is also why you've seen most of these big players completely silent when all these bad things were happening to everybody. It's because they're part and parcel. The department's Financial Institutions Division, okay, on Wednesday, ordered Prime Trust to cease and desist all activities that violate Nevada regulations. Guys, if you heard about the Coast folks, okay, and their on-ramp, now you're getting some understanding as to what exactly happened with this. So I saw this as an opportunity to kind of say, don't take it out on those guys. There are things at play here that are kind of beyond what they have control of. So Prime Coast declined to comment on the order. Prime Trust previously ran a number of businesses, but one of its main functions was to hold dollars on behalf of crypto firms. What's interesting about this too, this was a low risk business, and this got attacked. And it's not even quite clear what happened to cause their liquidity to dry up. So when I was searching online, I couldn't really see much that indicated why they were taken over by the state here. So I found that interesting, and I'm gonna table that. We might come back to that if some more details come out in the coming days. Custodians such as Prime Trust are meant to be among the safer parts of the financial system, not engaging in risky activities. It's unclear what caused the reported shortfall of customer funds. Even the Wall Street Journal says that. The company once played a major role in the infrastructure of crypto markets by holding funds on behalf of companies like FTX, Binance.us, and Celsius Network. While Prime Trust has retreated in importance over the past year, why? Well, it's because of the regulatory environment right now. I'd say the bear market, retail has disappeared. Prime Trust has retreated in importance over the past year. Its abrupt shutdown sent ripples through the firms that rely on its services. They continue to attack these folks. They continue to attack these major players in this infrastructure, and they're rebuilding a new infrastructure. I think that we have illustrated that plenty in the past 12 months here on this channel. Securitize, a blockchain firm that keeps investors' cash deposits for its trading platform at Prime Trust, said several of its functions have been paused. The firm said in a tweet that it was accelerating its transition to a new custodian and would ensure customers are made whole. Estonia-based crypto exchange CoinMetro, another customer of Prime Trust, sent in a tweet that it was unable to process new US dollar transactions. So here's what we got. Here's what we're doing. This is what it's all about, folks. This is what it's all about. All right, let's keep going here because it gets more interesting. This was very interesting. Prime Trust was supposed to be acquired by Bitco. And just before everything hit the fan with Prime Trust, as we've talked about here, BitGo decided to curtail the acquisition. Why? Why did they do that? All right, I'm going to turn the music off here, and then we're gonna talk about that. I think, yes, we are. And they actually interview the BitGo CEO. And it's very important to listen to the words of these people. Now, you got to understand that these people are only telling you what their companies want the public to hear. Okay, these folks, they hire folks to come in, and they hire folks to train these guys to talk to the public. And they give their talking points. But it's important to understand what they want you to hear. So then you can question the opposite. Take what they have, question the opposite, and sometimes you start to find some truth. So let's get into this. Let's see what BitGo CEO says. The person who decided not to acquire Prime Trust right before regulators swooped in.
That custodian Prime Trust is suspending withdrawals last week after a canceled acquisition by rival custodian BitGo. Joining us to discuss is BitGo CEO Mike Belshi. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the time to be here with us. Let's talk about this Prime Trust acquisition. BitGo terminated its acquisition of Prime Trust only 2 weeks after announcing the intent to acquire. Tell us what went into making that decision.
Well, I think people are familiar with what's going on at Prime Trust. Unfortunately, they had their regular shut them down temporarily, and so obviously we couldn't proceed with the deal.
A source told CoinDesk that Prime Trust has been losing clients and deposits to competitors for weeks amid mounting concerns over its business. Can you tell us a little bit more about the due diligence process?
Well, BitGo's been growing and gaining some of Prime Trust clients. Prior to talking with them at all about a potential acquisition, so a number of their clients actually came to BitGo, and in fact, some of that is how we stepped into that potential transaction. Anyway, I think most clients at this point are finding good solutions, and I know that some were affected, like you just mentioned one a few moments ago. The best place to answer those questions is probably Prime Trust.
So exactly how much were you going to acquire them for had they not been dealing with the Nevada regulator?
I want to point something out, guys, and I kind of learned this a while back. All right, you see this guy's smile, right? Some people smile because they're happy. All right. Now, what happens when you threaten a dog? What happens when you threaten an animal? They snarl at you. Okay. They show their canines. So just want to let you know, just body language wise, it's interesting to see this guy. He's kind of like he's kind of like annoyed superior, and he's kind of like being a little snarky with that little smile. Just want to point that out.
Regulators.
We haven't disclosed that.
All right, hold on, guys. Sorry.
This is probably Prime Trust.
So exactly how much were you going to acquire them for had they not been dealing with the Nevada regulators?
We haven't disclosed that.
I mean, is there a ballpark figure? And in general, what were you acquiring exactly? What was the goal? Was it to acquire, I guess, their customers, any technologies involved?
Well, BitGo, I think, was probably one of the few companies that could easily absorb Prime Trust. Their business had struggled in a few different ways, but because they had a decent client base, we felt we could take that client base, combine it with BitGo's offering, and turn it into a smooth, efficient operation. So obviously there'd be a reduction in resources across the two firms, but we'd be able to operate that efficiently because we already operate crypto custody at scale.
With the specter of the SEC now hanging over much of crypto, how much of that played into this, into your withdrawal of the acquisition? You already had the Nevada regulator, basically shutting things down, but nonetheless, would that have caused any issue as well?
No, the SEC wasn't a factor here. The SEC has obviously been active in determining what's a security and what's not these days. That is their job. Hopefully they come out with some clear guidance as opposed to regulation by way of indirect after the fact lawsuits. But that was not a factor in this at all.
Any plans for any other acquisitions?
Yes. Well, we've got some pending. I haven't been able to announce them yet, but I think there's going to be consolidation in the space over the next 6 months. Firms that raised money just a year ago. Obviously the climate has changed, and so now it's time to kind of join forces with companies that are a little bit larger.
Guys, all right. Sorry it took 3 minutes and 41 seconds to get there. I'm going to replay what he just said. I'm going to replay what he just said, and then I want you to use your deductive reasoning skills to determine whether or not this is a good thing for you or a bad thing for you. All right. And then kind of try to connect this in the broader context of what's happening in crypto. So let's go.
I think, this the fact lawsuits, but that was not a factor in this at all.
Any plans for any other acquisitions?
Yes. Well, we've got some pending. I haven't been able to announce them yet, but I think, there's going to be consolidation in the space over the next 6 months. Firms that raised money just a year ago. Obviously the climate has changed, and so now it's time to kind of join forces with companies that are a little bit larger. So BitGo's got the opportunity, I hope, to be able to bring in some adjacent businesses that really help, bolster and strengthen us as a full service custodian.
All right. So in my mind, that's the problem here, folks. In my mind, that's a problem. All of these policies are pointing towards one thing. It's consolidation of the services in this industry. What have we always said? When you decentralize things out, it's really, really good for people like you. Okay. So when it's centralized, it's really, really good for the people at the top because they get to be rich on the backs of everybody else. It's a redistribution. This whole thing is completely back-asswards here. The entire thing, okay? You try to get away from what the traditional financial system looked like, and now this is a full-scale takeover. Full-scale takeover. I don't think I could sit on stage with any of the smartest people in cryptocurrency and have them convince me that this is good for crypto. Now, we got to be honest here, okay? We have to be genuine in our analysis that this is going to make a lot of people rich in DeFi. It's going to make a lot of people rich in DeFi, folks. All right. This stuff gets pushed through. There's going to be an enormous amount of money. Bitcoin, in my mind, serves as the gateway drug for crypto. Bitcoin and Ethereum at this point. It's going to serve as the gateway drug. There's so many things that happen when people start looking at Bitcoin, and then they get introduced to other advertising, and then the quote-unquote matrix pushes them to DeFi eventually. Why are they pushing them to DeFi? It's because a lot of these people are just like you and me, okay? You want to talk about people that are really, really bad gamblers? A lot of doctors and a lot of lawyers, they go to Vegas, they blow a lot of money. Do you think they're any different than you? No. Maybe you go, or there are some doctors, maybe there are some lawyers, this and that. Human nature is human nature. And people, like I've said many times before, they come into crypto because they want to get rich, and then they find a different path, a different reason. Okay, so a lot of people are going to be coming in. A lot of people are going to be searching for places that they get high returns. They can get in on the bottom, this and that. And DeFi is really the only thing that represents that opportunity because that's where the entrepreneurs are. The entrepreneurs are not at Bitcoin. Entrepreneurs are in DeFi. Entrepreneurs are in the centralized TradFi ecosystem as well. Okay. So this guy said it. It came right out of his mouth. BitGo CEO. Listen, there's going to be a consolidation. There's going to be companies that are joining forces. There's going to be acquisitions. It's going to get consolidated at the top. Bad for you, good for them. Okay. So with that said, what do you think Pulse Chain represents? Let me just ask you that question. You can ponder that for a second. Okay. All right. So this was an article by George Kaludis, a straightforward explanation for why financial giants want to issue a spot Bitcoin ETF. We're going to shift our focus a little bit. This is going to serve to show you guys how out of touch these people are with what is actually happening. This guy probably got paid $500 or $1,000 to write this article. Okay. And they're completely out of touch. They don't know what they're talking about. There's very, very few people in this world that do. And I would contend that some people in this chat would be better served and better suited to provide these editorial services for these companies. So let's get at this. Let's talk about this. Let me see if I got anything highlighted first, which I do not. Okay. Yes, the institutions are back. But why did $10 trillion asset manager BlackRock and $1.5 trillion asset manager Invesco decide it was time for a spot Bitcoin ETF again? Many have offered convoluted and tinfoil hat theories. I find it interesting that this guy is calling these people convoluted and tinfoil hat theories. That surprises me. It's because just about all the tinfoil hat theories that have been talked about, I would say, in the past 24 months have come absolutely true. Can you guys name me one that hasn't? Can you name me one that hasn't? I mean, you want to look at some crazy stuff, go to the video that I did. Go to the video that I did on the first week of January. Okay, 10 predictions for 2023. Crazy, right? So what are some of those theories? Theories like BlackRock is scrambling to backstop Coinbase for some reason, or big firms are acting on behalf of three-letter agencies to keep self-custodied Bitcoin away from everyday people, or Wall Street. Wall Street can't let the crypto crowd get too far ahead of them. Is that tinfoil? He's saying that that's tinfoil. What? Listen to this again. Tinfoil theories like BlackRock is scrambling to backstop Coinbase for some reason, or the big firms are acting on behalf of three-letter agencies to keep self-custodied Bitcoin away from everyday people. Guys, you got to be living under a freaking rock if you don't think that governments don't like people to have custody of their own stuff. All right, that's a big point of contention in the government right now. They want to be able to track things. They want to track everything. All right, so what's your name? George, man, what's up, dude? You're slipping, man. And guys, I said I'm going to talk to you about this article to show how out of touch these people are, and they're just sucked up into the matrix, the financial matrix. That's what this is. All right, let's keep going here. So he says to keep everyday people, or that Wall Street can't let the crypto crowd get too far ahead of them. That's absolutely true. Wall Street wants to be able to create products, okay, based on these assets. So they got to force out the things that are volatile. You're volatile. Retail is volatile. So you need to be able to take over a majority of the market to push it the way that they want. Let's focus on BlackRock for a second. If you operate under the assumption that BlackRock has clients, which it does, and those clients have money they want to give to BlackRock, they do, and those clients are willing to pay BlackRock to take care of that money, they are, and that BlackRock listens to clients, it mostly does, then it doesn't take a massive leap of faith to believe that there is some amount of client demand for crypto exposure that would make offering customers exposure to crypto worth it, in exchange, of course, for a fee. The fact that BlackRock sees a spot Bitcoin ETF as the path of least resistance in offering that exposure to its clients is a different story. BlackRock will only make money on this ETF if approved. So far, about a dozen spot Bitcoin ETF applications have been rejected by the SEC. All right, guys, it's all about money. It's all about money, all about control, and all about power. You guys got to understand that. And I know you guys do. These people don't. All right, and the journalism here is just crazy. I can't believe some of the points that this person is making. BlackRock wants to make money. They want to make money. They want to be assured that they're not going to have any type of friction. That's why they waited this long. They knew that all of this was going to happen to Binance. Make no freaking mistake about it. They knew they wanted to get in at the bottom of the market. Guys, we are close. We are close to the bottom of the market. If not on it, could we see another 20%, 30, 40% fall off? Sure. Followed by a trigger, a bounce back up? Sure. This is all planned. If you don't believe that, look at our last stream from last week, and we illustrated that very well. So To be sure, the path of least resistance for crypto exposure is that way, since the SEC is committed to, as CoinDesk David Z. Morris put it, burning the earth and salting the fields of the cryptocurrency industry. And then he says, I, for one, don't think that BlackRock would apply for the spot Bitcoin ETF if it didn't think that arguably the most powerful company on Wall Street could get the ETF approved. If I had my tinfoil hat on, then maybe there's a secret plot to make Bitcoin look completely unappetizing to the world, since even BlackRock couldn't get a spot ETF through. I don't think this is the case. And again, he misses the mark here. He misses the target, in my opinion. Why? To think that BlackRock doesn't already control Bitcoin is delusional. To think that BlackRock, the company that owns the Fortune 500, okay, it owns Fortune 500, all of them, just about, or exposure, right? And a lot of those companies have exposure to Bitcoin. That's crazy. That's crazy to think. We're going to keep digging into this. All right. So the question is, how come all of these other companies have not been able to get into the spot the spot ETFs for Bitcoin? That's the big question. You got a lot of CEOs that are complaining. The SEC is just cumbersome. The SEC doesn't want to play ball. Guys, it all boils back to Wall Street. Everything boils back to Wall Street. And I'm about to prove that to you once again. And this is going to be something that comes up in the future. I assure you. Okay? I want to say this. A lot of these major news websites for cryptocurrency, these people have to play ball with the people that are advertising with them. Do you guys get that? Do you guys understand that? That's why if some of you in this chat are interested in creating some sort of news website, remember the friends that you make now could be enemies years in the future. So choose your advertisers wisely. Okay? I just want to point that out. And a lot of these articles that are condemning or damning or critical of Wall Street or these bigger companies, they're kind of buried on the back pages. Okay, so that way they can say, oh yeah, we put that out there, but it should be bigger news than it is. They just kind of check that box and cover their asses. All right. So BlackRock, which is BLK, iShares Bitcoin Trust application. So this is the actual trust application to the U.S. and Securities Exchange Commission. I think that this is going to have the best chance to go through because they've done something that nobody else has done. All right. So on page 36 of the filing, it stated that to mitigate against market manipulation, NASDAQ will be brought in to enter into a surveillance sharing agreement with an operator of a spot trading platform for Bitcoin. Surveillance sharing agreements allow for the sharing of information about market trading activities, clearing activity, and customer identification, allowing for little possibility of market manipulation. Guys, that is crazy. That is powerful. How come stuff like this doesn't get pushed out? And if you say Rags, you're freaking crazy. Rags, where are you getting this? Guys, I'm going to show my work. Okay. What do we have here? This is the United States Securities Exchange Commission. This is the Form S1 registration statement, the iShares Bitcoin Trust. Okay. Now this links over to what? This links over to, well, shoot, I don't want to lose that. It's okay. I can scroll down. Okay, this is the NASDAQ Stock Market LLC. Pursuant to Rule 19.4B under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, they have to submit this paperwork in order for this to go through, okay? So I want to show you. They talk about Bitcoin, what it is, how this is going to operate, how this functions. They talk about Satoshi Nakamoto. They talk about a lot of stuff. You'll see me, I've gone through this entire document. This is 111 pages, and I've highlighted some stuff here. The most important stuff I'm going to try to find for you. Where did I put that daggone stuff? There it is. Okay. All right, here it is, guys. This is in the actual paperwork that has been submitted. Okay. Background. The commission has historically approved or disapproved exchange filings to list and trade series of trust-issued receipts, including spot-based, commodity-based trust shares, on the basis of whether the listing exchange has in place a comprehensive surveillance sharing agreement with a regulated market of significant size, regulated to the underlying commodity to be held. Prior orders from the Commission have pointed out that in every prior approval of order for commodity-based trust shares, there has been a derivatives market that represents the regulated market of significant size, generally a CFTC-regulated futures market. All right? Further to this point, the Commission's prior orders have noted that the spot commodities and currency markets for which it has previously approved spot exchange trading products are generally unregulated, and the Commission relied on the underlying futures market as the regulated market of significant size, folks. So there you have it. What BlackRock, what their silver bullet here is the fact that they're going to use NASDAQ to surveil their market activities. Why is this crazy? Why is this crazy, folks? Let's talk about that. Okay, if blockchain can be self-custodied and everything is viewable on the blockchain, why do they need these sorts of things? And it's because of this. It's because these are middlemen working with middlemen. This is not self-custodied with the customer's wallet. These are people that are raising money to purchase Bitcoin, and they're giving shares, and those shares are traded. Okay, those shares are traded in backroom deals. That's what happens here. They have to have somebody surveil the entire centralized process. This is what we have been trying to move away from. I told you guys I would connect it back here. This is what we've been trying to move away from the entire time. And centralized TradFi is taking over cryptocurrency in every single way. And people don't know what it is. They don't know what crypto is and what it's meant to be and what it could be. So they're just complicit in this because all they think is, oh, green candles and a price go up and I get rich. I don't care what else happens. I'm going to die one day. It doesn't matter. So this all connects back to Wall Street. You're going to have Wall Street that is going to be surveilling. And it's kind of interesting that it's a peer that's surveilling this. And it's not necessarily all the responsibility of the CFTC or the SEC to do so. It's a peer. So when they say these things, when they say that this is supposed to create competition, for example, if this ETF gets approved and all the other ones get approved, mind you, they read these documents that were publicly filed and they created their own. They're copying BlackRock because if BlackRock gets pushed through, there's no reason that the others can't. Is this going to create any sort of competition? I would say no. I would say absolutely not, folks. And it's because they are all the same people. They're all in the same boat here. I don't see any other way. Like every week, I've got an example backing up exactly what this is. And nobody in the crypto industry is up in arms, except for really the people in this community. And if you don't understand this, it's good that you're here because you're starting to understand this. Okay. All right. Let's check chat here. And then we're going to kind of pivot a little bit. Just some things to look out for. All right. I want to say this. Guys. Okay. This is the chief of markets at Web3 Crypto and Fiat Service Holder uHolder. They wrote in an email, it seems that the crypto market is going to be completely restructured in the country by the biggest investment firms in the near future. Wow. That's a powerful statement, folks. By the chief of markets at a major Web3 crypto service provider. More investors will have access to crypto investments with much lower risk. Important to notice that a very small percentage of BlackRock or Fidelity clients interested in spot BTC ETFs or enough to move the price further north. Guys, how sad is this? How sad is it that that person is endorsing this as well? We could do the hard thing. We could do the hard thing and do this on our own and bootstrap it, okay? But this is a reoccurring theme all throughout history. You give away liberty, you get safety. And it doesn't matter if it's in the financial markets, doesn't matter if it's in wartime, it doesn't matter if it's in social welfare or security, it doesn't matter. The government gives you the idea and provides the idea of safety. In return, you give them your liberty. And this is what's happening once again. They are taking this like it's nothing. They have no pushback anywhere. Crazy. Well, some of us are pushing back. We're talking about it. We're pushing back. There might be some people that have some tricks up their sleeves here. I don't know, though. All right, let's get into this, guys. Something to look out for. We are 40 minutes in. That freaking flies by, I swear. Okay, this article is actually from CoinDesk. Crypto traders eye 6.8 billion Bitcoin and Ether options expiry. Dealers are stuffed with record negative gamma in BTC. With only a little move in the spot price, we could witness fireworks. The bullish buzz returned to the crypto markets last week as Bitcoin, the leading cryptocurrency by market value, jumped more than 15% in its best performance since March. Now a significant event looms on the horizon. On Friday at 0800 UTC, which is what, like 5 a.m.? 5 a.m. Eastern? Oh, no, 4 or 3 a.m. Eastern. Some 150,633 Bitcoin options contracts worth $4.57 billion and 1.23 million Ether contracts valued at $2.3 billion will expire on Panama-based Deribit Exchange, which controls over 85% of the global options activity. The Bitcoin contracts due for settlement account for 43% of the total open interest. In Bitcoin's case, investors have recently bought call options with strike prices at and above 30,000. As a result, that level has the highest open interest, or the number of active contracts and market maker dealers who create order book liquidity by taking the other side of the investors' bids. All right, so basically what this means is there's a large buildup of open interest at 30,000. That means the spot price could gravitate towards around that level in the lead up to the expiration. Bitcoin is currently trading just above $30,000. Meanwhile, dealers' negative gamma positions means a slight move away from 30,000 could translate into an explosive rally or a price slide. So I'm telling you all this right now, guys, to be aware that this week could be extremely volatile. It could be extremely volatile, all right? And just be aware of that. If you're the DCAers, if you're doing that sort of thing, this could be a good opportunity for you later towards this week. Will it be front run? I don't know if it'll be front run. Potentially, it could. All right. Okay, I'm going to explain to you a little bit better about what I just said here. All right. So we talked about Deribit. It's so an option. I want to tell you what an option is. Okay, an option is a contract that lets you buy or sell Bitcoin at a set price later. On Friday, options contracts, the equivalent was about 150,633 will expire. It's kind of like an auction ending, and the highest bidder will get the asset. Now, the reason that the spotlight is on the $30,000 mark, as many investors bought call options at this price, call option gives you the right to buy Bitcoin later at the agreed price. If Bitcoin's price goes up, you can still buy it cheaper using your option. Market makers who facilitate trades by being willing to buy or sell have a short gamma position. And when they were talking about short gamma, what does that actually mean? This is a fancy term. It basically means if the Bitcoin price moves away from $30,000, then we could potentially see really rapid price swings. Simply put, Bitcoin could shoot up or down extremely swiftly. So I wanted to make sure you guys understood that. Let me check chat here. Yeah, want to buy crypto? You'll have to log into your retirement account. Is that not exactly what they want us to do? They want to be injected into the vein of this capital that is moving. Okay? That's what they want. They want to slow down the economic energy. They want to slow it down. And how do they slow it down? They put themselves in the middle. It slows things down. But then they get to determine how fast it shoots out the other end and where it goes. And they get the money for it. That is not what crypto is intended to do. And the hard thing to do is to use our brains and create new ways to make this happen. This is why Pulse Chain, again, is so valuable, because it's not part of that yet, folks. This is grassroots. Pulse Chain should be something that we hold on to very, very dearly for this reason. Okay? You see all this craziness that's happening in the world around you. Mixed crypto arts. Good day, Rags. BlackRock trying to control the on-ramp with the centralization of on-ramp companies. Absolutely. They'll let you guys do it as long as they're making money. As long as Wall Street gets its cut, and as long as the government gets to tax the hell out of it, you guys can get the scraps. How do you feel about that? Because that's what's happening right now. And we saw it from a mile away. How convenient. ET phone home. They want control. Yeah, they do. BlackRock track record for applications. Yeah, they're like 99.5%. Okay, even if they get rejected, they'll get rejected with some type of remediation. It's going to get pushed through eventually. Okay. RH coins have too much liquidity or money in them. The liquidity pools are in the tens of millions of USD. We need buyers to split those units of tokens up, take them from the hands of whales, and decentralize. Interesting. Then we can get some movement. We weed out the sellers to meet new buyers. Well, I would be very, very careful what you wish for, especially in a bear market. Okay? I think the best time, in my opinion, if you are the type of person that wants to manipulate the markets to your favor, you might be best served to manipulate the markets by thinning liquidity when the price is going up instead of the price going down. Okay? So thick liquidity in a bear market is not a bad thing, because it can absorb big time market sells and it keeps price relatively stable. So just be careful what you ask for there. All right. If OA also started to burn PLS, we'll see where the price goes. There's a lot of cool things here, folks. I've said this, and many people have said this. There's a lot of tools at whoever's disposal that owns these tools. There's a lot of tools here. There's a lot of things that could happen. The question is, how many of you are going to sell? How many of you are not going to be around when those tools are deployed? And make no mistake about it, those tools will be deployed, okay? If you stick around, something's going to happen. All right, half of you didn't like the video. Great, outstanding. All right, the last part of this, folks. Again, I'm going to be shilling this pretty hard. And let me tell you why. Just straight up honest, okay? All right. I see this newsletter as a way to break into the established news media of crypto. Newsletters can grow very, very quickly. I want to give out solid information. I want to give out the truth, and I don't want to care about advertisers or anything like that. I want this to be the place where everybody can go to get the actual truth about things and backed up by fact. I also think that this is one of the best ways to reach out to other communities. All right, because you can buy advertising for this. You can push this out. It goes straight to people's emails. Okay. Now, the way that this works, if you guys are not familiar, you can create a separate email account if you want to, but I will have a list of your emails. And that's because if I want to push out a newsletter, it blasts it out directly to your email. So if you're worried about security or anything like that, or you do want me to have your personal one, then don't use it. Just create a new one. It'll go straight there. Share this with people, folks. Share it with people. Okay, this could be the thing that they see pop up in their email for a year straight before they read one article. But then they read one article and they're like, wait a minute, this is kind of cool. And then they share it with somebody else. So I think that this is just a very versatile way to get information directly to people. And eventually I'm going to create a service where you can actually have the link texted straight to your phone number if you want to do that. If not, that's fine. You can do this too. Now I want to say this as well, folks. You can support this, but when you go to this page, and the link is in the description, Wealth Wave, at the bottom here it says, let me read it first. So you can read it without having to sign up as well. If you do sign up, it'll be more convenient because it goes straight to you. All right. So that's my spiel on that. Now, I wanted to touch on what happened this week with Russia, because I was in Twitter Spaces quite a bit. Here's what really surprised me. When this was happening, what really, really surprised me was the mainstream media in the United States for a solid 12 hours were not picking up on this at all. They weren't talking about it. And that really freaking surprised me. And I'm trying to think of all the reasons why. Okay, I'm thinking, okay, if CNN isn't picking up on this, it doesn't fit a narrative that they've been pushing out. And the White House doesn't want them to push that narrative out, or doesn't want that narrative to stop. So I thought that that's why CNN might not be doing that. Now, I didn't know what narrative it was that they were trying to preserve. Okay, and by showing what was happening in Russia, it would degrade that narrative. And the same thing was with Fox. It surprised me. I switched on Fox. The only people that were really talking about this were Al Jazeera and then BBC for a little bit. And there were some Associated Press tickers. All right. So this really, really surprised me. The other reason that I thought that they might not be doing this, the intelligence agencies or the governments were letting the media know that all this was just a ruse. Okay, so this was all choreographed. And I've seen some crazy video out there. Like, everybody's going about their day, and there's like two soldiers that are tactically moving from point to point to point, and then they're going prone, and then the camera looks at the soldier who's prone, and then he scrolls over to like across the street, and there's just like a dude walking his dog. So it's almost like it was being done for the cameras, right? So it was just a really, really weird thing, this entire thing. But I want to give you something that's solid, and that's actually a guy that I've been following. I don't necessarily agree with all of his political points, but he's actually there on the ground. And this is going to give you some insight into what was actually happening there. And I apologize for the audio because it's real loud and kind of weird. But I'm going to share this with you, and then if you guys have any questions, hit me up in chat here.
Rostov. Right behind me, you see civilians gathering to, it seems, see off the Wagner Group. The day has gone through so many different changes here in Russia. The day started with the leader of the Wagner Group, Prigozhin, saying that the Ministry of Defense of Russia fired on his forces from the rear, these forces, the Wagner Group, as they were in the war zone fighting. And Prigozhin brought his forces into Rostov and took control of part of Rostov. And the Ministry of Defense and Russian authorities were calling them traitors. And he was making demands. And just hours ago, and over here we can see some of the, let's go over this way. Right here we can see a Wagner tank that was...
All right, so the funny part here, folks, the funny part here to me was there's like a Chinese lady that's just taking a selfie in front of this tank over here. What surprised me too is just how easy, like, it's I don't know, man. It's just weird how easy it is for him to be able to take pictures around this heavy military equipment and all. Like, this whole thing is just super, super odd. So, you know, and I wonder where this guy's getting his funding from. I like what he puts out, but you know, again, let's just watch.
Here in the center of Rostov. And just hours ago, the head of the Wagner Group met with the president of Belarus, Lukashenko, and had a negotiations. And the result of that negotiations was that his longtime enemy, the Minister of Defense of Russia, Shoigu, and Shoigu's deputy are at least going to be resigning. We've been on the road for 10 hours to get here to show you what's happening here on the ground, and we're doing that.
Sorry, I was muted. I found it interesting that this flag is actually in English, which is the Wagner Group. I understand they speak English over there, but I would think it would be in Russian.
Как вы чувствуете за сегодня?
Да, наши ребята, очень рады всех видеть. Пусть мы побыстрее все вместе объединимся. Вместе мы сила, Ахмат и Вагнер сила.
It's interesting too that to see some of the streets, they've been absolutely tore up by the tanks, the tank tracks. If you guys haven't seen that before, they weigh a lot. It's a lot of pressure spread out over a very small surface area, relatively.
Как результат сегодня? Как результат сегодня?
Как будем жить дальше?
Результат сегодня.
Результат нормальный.
Нормально?
Всех взбодрили.
All right, so that's kind of the leader, Prokoshin. He's just chilling in an SUV. Not worried about a drone strike, anything like that. Yeah, this is just weird. This is super weird, folks. Actually, what I'll do, I'll put this link as well into the chat so you guys can kind of check it out. It goes on for like another 12 minutes or so, 11 minutes. But just super interesting, straight on the ground from Russia. You guys can see that happening. All right, let's check here. Blue, I saw Blue. Blue likes to push back on some of the crazy stuff that I say, and I appreciate that. And he's always well informed. So, you know, when he's saying something, I like to listen. Blue says, script writers were confused. No time to know what their stance was. Yeah. Patrick Lancaster is great. Good info. Yes, yes. Oh, no, this guy works for Putin. Dude, look it up. You know, it wouldn't surprise me. He might. But here's the thing. It's unedited. When do you get to see 15 minutes of unedited footage? Just straight in a city downtown. You know, that's nice. And I'm not indicating that can't be faked too, but it's just probably more difficult. It was actual Russian propaganda. People call legitimate info Russian propaganda and believe actual. That's true. That is crazy. So Russia creates crazier propaganda to get people to believe the not so crazy propaganda. I mean, that's a technique. Sociopaths and you know, those people, the psychopaths use that. Narcissists. What's up, Rags? And thanks, Facing Reality, for the share. Bing, bang, boom. It's all Hollywood. Actors of the highest caliber. All right. Urban legend is he's married to a Ukrainian that lived in Ukraine. American tax money paying for all of it. Hollyweird, baby, crypto truth. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, My name is Rags to Riches. A quick reminder here, okay?
Rags to Riches. Do not like, comment, or subscribe.
Have a horrible evening. Goodbye.